Yeah.
That's good.
I am here.
I'm now
Oh, yeah.
streaming. Hello, this is HirosKnight here with the 20th anniversary Star Wars special, talking about the Phantom Menace, which is 20 years old today. Can you bloody believe it?
I can.
I've got with me Oliver Johnson of Magnak the
go.
Destroyer fame on Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube.
I don't really go by that anymore.
No, you don't, do you? Occasionally
No.
you do, but very rarely. Yeah, it's a bit like Prince with his symbol. We've got Jack Yardley.
Unfortunately
who's got
for
a very
you.
apt Star Wars name, which is Star Wars: The Old Republic Saga.
That is correct. Well done.
Yeah, the old pub saga.
Well,
I
we
don't
don't.
give my allegiances to the pub to drink.
So, where shall we begin? I'm just going to go on IMDb
If you're
and
not-
search up some trivia for you.
If you're not with me, then you're under the table.
Yeah.
Seb made a video that I think has been lost to time called Bar Wars. What was it? The Phantom Martini.
Something like that, because it was the only word beginning with him that we could actually think of that had any relevance.
And he retooled the story so that the separatists were prohibitionists that were trying to get rid of alcohol.
It worked surprisingly well.
Yeah, hundreds of senators are now under the influence, and he just stops there.
They're just all
I
drunk.
I can see how that works.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering what the guy who plays Sio Bibble went on to do, because I don't think I've seen him in anything else. Oh, he was in Johnny English as the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Are you insane?
He was also in Game of Thrones trying to poison Missandei.
I can imagine that. He's very archbishop-y. You know, he looks like he could be some sort of respected religious figure. Oh, what else was he in? He played Christopher Robin in Christopher Robin. I suppose, I know, as an old man. Was he telling the story back, or... Because I can't imagine casting him as a person who's supposed to be a child. Wait a minute, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I was going to say I don't remember Sio Bibble being in Revenge of the Sith, but he must have been at the funeral at the end.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, must have been. I bet he would have been annoyed if he wasn't invited to that.
The death toll was catastrophic.
So yeah, what
Yes,
memories
that was
do
a
you
miss-
have at the time of The Phantom Menace? You know, like when it was coming out in the cinema and, you know, all the hype leading up to it.
I
Sorry,
remember
what was the question?
Oh my god. Ollie, pay attention. Right, Ollie, are you listening now? Because I'm not
I
going
was
to repeat this
listening
a third
before, you just didn't come through.
Okay, Ollie.
I was listening. We just decided to pretend we weren't.
What memories do you have of The Phantom Menace when it was coming out in the cinema and, the hype around it, you know, like merchandising and people going to see it and...
Right, well, I was very young. My first experience with Star Wars was when I was 4 or 5. There was a special screening of A New Hope, and everyone always referred to that as the first one. So when
Like
my friend
Friends?
Ryan...
Like Friends
Well,
episodes.
No,
The
well,
one
a
with
bit,
the
I
Death
suppose.
Star.
So when my friend Ryan, who was around the same age as me, maybe a year younger, was talking to me about Star Wars Episode 1 that was coming out, I was like, it's already out. It's been out for a while. It's like no, this is proper Episode 1. It's like Obi-Wan dies in Episode 1. He doesn't die young, he dies old, were words I was...
He doesn't live fast and die young.
Although he does live relatively fast.
Yeah, he lives fast and he dies old.
Yeah, but that's he's a
how
very
people should
accomplished
be.
fast liver.
Yeah, that's how people should be. Live fast, die old. Oh, Pete says he thinks he might join. Yeah.
Oh God, no!
Let's give him a clap on the back. I don't mean like in an assaulting kind of way. I mean just like, hey, congratulations, Pete.
I was hoping for you meant assaulting way.
Okay, yeah, let's add him. The shipway. I have
Opinion
got this picture of Boz
Opi-
Nass on the screen, just because that way I have something Star Wars related on the screen.
My earliest opinion of Star Wars being that it was my very first my very first movie.
Really? The Phantom Menace was?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you've got a soft spot for it. That's great.
To this day, The Phantom Menace is the movie I've seen in theatres the most times, and I tried to break that record
And
with
that's
The Last
out of
Jedi. I
all
didn't manage
movies,
it.
not just...
I don't remember if I even saw it in the cinema.
Pete! Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
Peter Shipway
And-
with us. Hello, Peter.
And yes, that is out of all movies, not just Star Wars.
I think that's great. But yeah, welcome to
Nothing
the
to be
stream,
ashamed of.
Pete. No.
With 9.
Star Wars is nothing to be scared
I can't remember it. I can't remember the last time I saw a film in the cinema more than once.
I can. Yesterday.
Oh yeah.
What
We
was it?
saw Detective Pikachu again, which, by the way,
Huh?
Pete, you should watch. You'd like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Pete
won't.
specifically really should watch it.
Yeah. I won't go into spoiler territory like we did earlier, Ollie, but yeah,
That
Pikachu
was,
screws his mom. Pikachu screws his mom.
No, he doesn't.
He does. He does.
No, he doesn't.
He was.
This is starting
There-
to seem familiar.
There is no point in that movie, or even in the history of that movie, where that happened.
Yeah, but he has to have screwed his mom for the plot to make sense.
No, he doesn't.
He does. Not his own mom. I mean, like the main human character's mom.
Have you got that popcorn meme, Pete?
Oh,
We
I'll
should
look
edit it
for
into Boss Nass's hand to make it look like he's the one eating popcorn.
The Naboo.
Yeah, Pete, what are your memories of The Phantom Menace being out in the cinema and the lead up to that?
Alright, I remember I think I had a book of it. When,
What, you mean like a
around the time
novelisation
we-
or a picture book or...
I think it was a picture book.
I remember having the Tazzies. I think they were releasing them in bags of Doritos. I'm not sure if it was Doritos or just
Tazzies?
Walkers. Yeah, you know, the discs.
Oh my god, do you remember the
Yes.
statuettes from cereal
Yes!
boxes?
Oh my god, I got one from Cocoa Pops that was of Darth Sidious.
I
Yes.
remember
I
when,
got,
I
I
remember
got a
when Revenge of the
C3PO.
Sith came out and I had a book. I had
I had that.
a book for that.
I've still got it.
I don't
I had
know.
a C3PO. I knew someone who managed to collect them all, and he had them on a shelf for the longest time.
That's
He
awesome!
may still have them. I don't know.
I think that's great because I wish I kept mine.
This
I
is
don't know
the
what
same-
happened.
This is the same friend that I thought was talking about A New Hope, by the way.
Oh wait, tell me more about this, Ollie. I want to follow that thread.
Well, there's not much more to tell.
So he thought that you thought that the Phantom Menace was episode 1. Wait, the Phantom Menace is episode 1. I mean the other way around. You thought A New Hope was episode
Well,
1 'cause it was
when-
the first one.
Well, nobody said The Phantom Menace. He said Star Wars Episode 1's coming out. And I thought, surely, since Star Wars is a film that exists, then Episode 1...
I
yeah,
like how you didn't notice Roman numerals.
it wasn't there on the VHS tape I've got. It just
It was
says
an
Star
old
Wars.
one that just said Star Wars. Yeah, because
Yeah.
They
I think
didn't
I've
really-
still got that knocking around somewhere.
they didn't really bother calling it A New Hope until sometime before the special edition was released, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember having an old one that didn't have the proper thing. I think I bought it in a car boot as a curiosity. So yeah, Pete, tell me about the book you had.
Well, I don't really remember much about it.
I remember, and I cannot place this to this day, I'm sure it was an advert on TV which was advertising the Phantom Menace chessboard.
I had that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being
I think I had
advertised because
stickers.
I think it said something like...
Wait, so did I.
What, Ollie, well, you had stickers or you had the chessboards? I'm confused.
I had the chessboard. I also had a Darth Maul Rubik's Cube that was sort of like...
Was it just
Darth
red and
Maul's
black?
head. No, it was Darth Maul's head, but in 4 sort of segments that you could shuffle around.
That's brilliant. That must have been a bit confusing.
It's a puzzle. It's meant to be.
Yeah, because I remember the advert for Star Wars chess on the TV. It was like the Queen attacks, and then you see what I think is meant to be Natalie Portman, as Amidala whacking Darth
See
Maul
if you
and
can
knocking
get a
him off a
picture
cliff.
up of it.
All right, I'll have a look. Phantom Menace chess. I remember that advert, but I don't remember seeing it again.
I also had a Phantom Menace battleships.
And because of that, Daryl's chess collection. I'm not interested in your chess collection, Daryl. I'm only interested in the Phantom Menace chess. Here we go. Episode 1 chess set. I remember that advert on the TV because I thought that Amidala was going to be more of a fighting character because of that. And I also thought that the plot had something to do with the game of chess because of that advert. I also remember seeing a Star Wars trailer on the TV where it was like, meet Jar Jar Binks, and it was just lots of footage of Jar Jar Binks. But it wasn't really heavily marketing the Star Wars aspect, so I thought it was a separate movie called Jar Jar Binks, and it wasn't until later that it clicked that Jar Jar Binks was going to be a character in the new Star Wars.
Jar Jar spin-off confirmed.
Yeah, I didn't even realise it had anything to do with Star Wars. I think it was just a movie about someone who looked a bit odd, like the Elephant Man.
You?
No, I was thinking it was going to be more like a freak thing, like the Elephant Man, because they showed the bit where he grabs the apple with his tongue. And of course, you don't usually associate apples with sort of science fiction, do you?
Why not?
Well, you associate science fiction with science fiction. You associate apples with food. So I thought it was something set in the real world about someone who looked slightly odd.
Like you?
Well, no, more like the Elephant Man sort of thing I'm going on. I almost said Rain Man, but Rain Man didn't look odd. He just wore a cardigan, I think.
Well, I did actually
And
hear
counted
some things
cards.
about... Jar Jar Binks came up in conversation when I went to this Star Wars thing in London last year.
Yeah, go on.
I can't quite remember the full extent of it, though.
You just remember that Jar Jar Binks came up in conversation in a room full of Star Wars fans.
Not exactly conversation, he was part of the exhibit, and he had quite a big part of it, explaining a good reason why he was there.
Oh, so you mean Ahmed Best? Or do you mean...
What?
Do you mean Ahmed Best, or do you mean there was like a sort of a Madame Tussauds style plasticine model of Jar Jar?
You could say that. There was also
What do you mean I could say that? It was one or the other. I'm confused. Was
I lived
Ahmed
to
Best there, or...?
I live to confuse you, you know that.
Right.
What was there?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about.
Answer the question!
All I
Well,
hear
it was
is
an-
all Star
it
Wars,
was
Star
an
Wars,
exhibit.
Jar Jar. What he was.
It was
You
an
mean...
exhibit. They had the model of his costume, and they
Oh.
also had an audio recording.
Did I tell you about...
Oh, I see.
Did-
That makes more sense. There, that makes sense now.
Did I tell you about when I went to Redditch a few weeks ago?
I thought you
And
were going
they-
to say when you went to Reddit, but go on.
They had a Star Wars thing that... I think it was the day after Peter May died.
That's a strange coincidence.
Is it?
Yeah. But go on, Pete.
Yeah, they were selling Star Wars merchandise and... Yeah,
Phantom Menace
that's about
or
it.
National Emergency? Oh, I thought that had something to do with Star Wars then. What on earth is this? Oh, I thought it was a knockoff poster, but it was just an illustration. Anyway, Ollie, give me more sort of Star Wars memories, because I like hearing stories about your past. They make me smile.
Well,
Why?
I'm glad.
I don't know, it's just the warmth about them, like, it's always about him nicking stuff and hiding stuff in his wheelchair, or
I've never
him being
done that.
horribly ashamed of
Well, I
something
suppo-
extremely minor. It's...
Well, I suppose it's better than hearing about my past. God knows I'm sick of having to be a part of it.
Well, Ollie, tell us more, because, what do you remember about the Phantom Menace at the time?
Right. Well, the first time I saw it, it was with my dad.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I remember from that time? They seemed to think I was scared of Darth Maul, even though I betrayed no.
Do you know
I
what?
think that-
It's funny you mention that. I had the same thing about Voldemort being on the back of Quirrell's head when I went to see that. And they were like, oh, isn't that scary? And I was like, No, it isn't. He's just a weird-looking face. That's not scary.
They didn't even say it was scary. They seemed to think that I uniquely was scared of it, despite my not having actually declared that at any point.
There was no evidence of it. What is it with your parents? It's like they see a completely different person when they see you, because they think you know Oasis, they think you're scared of Darth Maul. Do they also think that you have a mohawk and speak Belgian? There you go, Edward. My name's not Edward.
Oh.
Shut up, Edward.
Stop showing off in front of them just because you're scared of Darth Maul.
But yeah, I actually saw the Phantom Menace a great many times.
Yeah,
because,
I want to hear your odyssey of Phantom Menaceness.
Well, I had a lot of relatives at the time.
Yeah, they all died later, but
A lot of them did.
oh, sorry. Carry on. Moving on.
Well, no, it's just like the family is a bit estranged these days. But anyway,
I thought you were going to say the family is a bit strange these days.
Oh, it always was. But anyway, my dad had various parts of his side of the family. Between them, my mum's side of the family, and my stepdad at the time, I ended up seeing Star Wars, I think 6 times. It may have been 7, in which case it is 10 times, but I'm going to say 6.
Yeah, well, 6 is what we can verify.
Yeah, I know it was at least 6.
So did it get better every time, or?
It was pretty consistent, and even after that, my dad sort of brought over a pirate DVD of it from holiday.
Oh yeah, I had one of those of Attack of the Clones. Carry on.
Yeah, and it had all those like funny subtitles at the bottom.
Oh, what you mean, like Backstrokes for West sort of thing?
No, just sort of. I don't know what language it was, but they weren't English.
So sort of like Cantonese sort of thing. Yeah.
I have no idea what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, Far Eastern sort of written language.
Yeah.
Probably.
And yeah, probably. And yeah, I watched it a lot. So I'm quite intensely familiar with the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it's just a classic movie. And do you know what? I'm gonna reveal something, Steve, I've never revealed before. Well, I might have done.
Gay.
Close. I never saw the Phantom Menace in the cinema.
Yes, you did.
Never when it was on the first run. I saw it in 3D a decade later with Ollie, and I think Mike. I think Mike was with us. Was he? Or Sam?
Yeah.
It could have been Sam. I don't know.
It may have been, although it was probably Mike. I remember we went in late. They were already at the Planet Core at the time.
I don't remember. I saw
That's
it
disappointing.
at the cinema.
Did you not?
Oh no, we saw it twice in the cinema. One time we went in late, and I believe it was because we went in late the first time that we went the second time.
It's a shame they never did the other 2 prequels in 3D, because weren't they going to do all 6 at one point?
I think
This
so.
was before the sale to Disney, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I would have been well up for
really.
I would have been well up for 3D re-releases just to see them in the cinema, you know.
Yeah.
Why did they only do episode 1?
I think it was just the amount of time and effort they put into it. They decided to put that into making new movies when they bought Disney and working on them finishing the Clone Wars and starting Rebels.
Well, they were just, if that was their only reason not to do it, then they should have said to hell with Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah, but at least we get a higher volume of Star Wars, and with the home systems that people have these days with the giant TVs and surround sound,
Also, 3D's not really a thing anymore, is it?
No, we were talking about this the other day. We saw lots of 2D Pikachu on the cinema listings, 2D Avengers, and it just occurred that there's no 3D screenings.
So no.
Or at least very, very few. I don't know why they differentiate. anymore, because there's very few 3D screenings, if at all. Or at least in the cinema in Dunedin, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Pete, give me more memories. We haven't heard much from you.
I believe I saw Avengers Endgame in the Directors Hall in Leicester twice, and neither one was 3D. So,
Yeah, it's gone out of vogue in the last year. Pete, more
When we
Phantom Menace.
Was it? I can't remember if it was Captain Marvel or Shazam.
Well, both Captain Marvel.
I think one of them was in 3D. I mean, we didn't see it in 3D, but I remember on the Showtimes. I think one of them was in 3D.
Yeah, they've gone out of vogue, haven't they? Jack, Phantom Menace thoughts from 1999. What do you remember? When do you remember seeing it?
I don't remember when I saw it. I know I saw it while it was in the cinema. I know it was the very first movie I ever saw in the cinema.
Yes,
and what I recall from that year is having 2 PC games. One was the Insider's Guide to Episode 1, the movie, and also the adventure game.
Ah, so you had some Phantom Menace merch. Whose dog is that?
That's mine.
You have a dog, Pete? How come I only just found out now that you've got a dog? You've never mentioned your dog once.
Do you know what else I had Phantom Menace merch-wise? Well, a friend of mine that lived a couple doors down had one of those watches that played
He had a watch?
Yeah. That played little, not stick figure, but sort of outline animations from the film.
Okay.
Of scenes from the film.
So they like animated scenes from... Oh, I vaguely remember something like that, where there was a Darth Maul and Qui-Gon fighting, and they went like from side to side. And I vaguely remember.
I had this lightsaber duel game, which was a lightsaber handle with a little screen on it that you like, and the red button was like a D-pad, and you moved Obi-Wan around, and you swung it to swing his lightsaber, and you had to kill Darth Maul. And that I kept that for years after it stopped working, just because it was basically a lightsaber.
That's really cool. Was it like one of those Tiger electronic games that you sort of got for Christmas if you were unlucky enough? Who remembers those, like Tiger Electronic games, and they were just sort of... They had a shitty screen that barely worked, and they were the most simple
Tiger
graphics.
Electronic game?
Yeah, and they were usually shaped like something, like you'd have one shaped like Shrek's head or something like that.
I asked for one specifically. I asked for one specifically.
I think I had one of those.
Yes.
Don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah.
Oh, when would it have been?
Yeah,
they were popular about
when I got it.
16, 17 years ago.
I think I had a Spyro one.
Oh crap! I wonder if I could find one.
Yeah, we should do a search for this. Wait, what's it called?
Lightsaber duel game was on the packet.
Okay,
I think it's coming up. Let's have a look.
Send a picture. I'll tell you if you've got it.
I saw a picture of Owen Wilson for some reason.
Okay.
Okay, that's funny. This Ultimate Edition picture of... Look at this, it looks like the Night King. And Darth Maul looks so happy. He looks like someone's told him a funny joke. Doesn't he? Look at the screen now.
Funny joke?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Did you put it in the chat?
It's like, ew. No, it's on the
picture
live
of Darth Maul.
Hello, I'm Darth Maul. He looks like a
in
good
the
guy,
Skype
Darth
chat.
Maul. But why don't you go on YouTube, you picky bugger?
Why would I do that?
Guys.
Oh, is it? Oh no, I remember this. Look at the screen like in 10 seconds because there's a time delay. Where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan sort of duel game. I remember this, but I don't remember having it. I remember seeing it in the shops a lot. And I remember Darth Maul being all over the packaging. Look now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I also had a Darth
I
Maul
don't
money
remember that.
box.
Darth Maul money box.
Yeah, you'd put money in and it
Oh.
would like move about and such as like. And
Did
it
you have that when I
connected
knew
to
you?
No,
I
but
remember seeing something like that where it swung from side to side.
yeah, and my stepbrother had an Obi-Wan one, but we never got a Qui-Gon.
Yes, I do remember those. I
And
remember because they
they
swung from
fit
side
together.
to side when you put the money in. Yeah, fit together. That makes sense. What else did I have? I had an action figure of a battle droid with some battle damage on.
I'm gonna
I had a Stap action figure.
Oh, awesome! The bike things that they launch. Yeah, that's awesome. I like Staps. Let's see. What else from the Phantom Menace? I remember having the Tazos, or Tazzies, I don't know what they're bloody called. You know what I mean.
No.
They're the discs. I think it's another word for pogs, but they've got a sort of a you move it and the picture changes quality, like what they had on the Chocolate Frog cards that you could get. What's the technology called? Someone help me out. Star Wars Tazos. Okay, yeah. Star Wars Tazos. These aren't the ones that they had, but they were similar to... Walker's Tazos, yes. Yes.
I've found one on eBay for like a tenner.
What,
the lightsaber thing.
Oh, that's really cool.
I'm pasting the picture into the chat now. That's the wrong picture.
That could be awkward. Is it safe
I
for
copied
work?
one. No, it was safe for work. I was showing someone where something was in Xenoverse 2.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Right.
I can't get a big picture up on the screen, but Star Wars Tazos. Yeah.
There we go. I have pasted the picture of it into the chat.
Oh yes, I remember seeing
Let's
one of
have a
these.
look at this. Come on.
That looks familiar.
Yes. Would you have still had it when I met you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
do remember it.
I don't actually. I remember using it to Photoshop lightsaber beat, like make it look like I was holding an actual lightsaber when I was still a teen.
Oh wow, these are from 1996. I was 4 years old. I didn't realise they were that old. I thought the Tazos came out... they came out with the special edition. They didn't even come out with Phantom Menace. They're older than I thought. Yeah, this is what they looked like. It's a very blurry picture. You can see like Yoda in the top left, Obi-Wan in the top right, one that looks like Princess Leia and Luke doing ballroom dancing. I don't know what that pertains to. One of Han Solo pointing at Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, and they were all like scenes from the movie, although I do not remember the scene where Luke and Leia were doing the tango.
I don't think you meant to.
Yeah.
Oh, there was an Attack of the Clones one as well.
Yeah, I think they were still doing these relatively recently, sort of the Tiger handheld games, because I remember some for Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my god, there's one being sold brand new.
What on earth is this? What on earth is this? Padme can't resist curiosity. Okay. This was from a packet of Walker's crisps in relation to episode 1. You'll see the picture in a second. I don't understand it. How to play. Starting at level 1, scratch off one panel on each level. You must reveal a down arrow to continue.
I think I remember these.
Yes, yeah, I definitely remember these, but why are the titles so odd? Padme can't resist curiosity. Okay.
Looks like an old meme.
Mace Windu can't resist inquiry. What, is this like the Senate's called him in or something and he's being investigated? I don't know. He doesn't look happy about it. What other ones are there? Sebulba can't resist cheating. Is it me, or does that sound like it could be something that appears on the Jeremy Kyle show? Which is again topical.
Well, not anymore.
Sebulba can't resist cheating.
You do know that's been cancelled now, right?
Yes, I know. That's why I said it was topical.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been cancelled like when it came out, but
I blame the pack of hyenas he called his studio audience.
well, it's the people at home watching that were the fault, because it doesn't matter what studio audience you have. If you get the views on TV,
Actually, I can show some kind of decorum towards those people, because, let's face it, all they did was just watch it and maybe even show some degree of sympathy towards the poor unfortunate sap who's being ridiculed by all those horrible people in the audience. It's all just a joke to them.
Yeah. Here we go. This is what the Tazos... You got the book for the Tazos, and you put the Tazos in the book like this. It's appearing on the screen now. So it's like C-3PO and R2-D2 set off
I think I had one of those for Revenge of
Seb,
the
you
Sith.
just made me think about put the lime in the coconut.
Put the Tazo in the book and close them both up. I'm glad I could tickle you to say, Jack.
I
Hey!
hope not.
Yeah. Since The Phantom Menace was your first movie experience in the cinema, how would you describe that? Because I can't think of a better, movie to watch from the cinema for the first time.
I was far too young to remember it properly.
Yeah, but I don't know, just give some what you can remember.
No.
There's plenty worse than the Phantom Menace for your first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Okay, Ollie, I want to pick your brain some more. What
I don't know what...
What were the occasions for you seeing The Phantom Menace?
Most of them were someone in my family wanted to go and see Star Wars. I wanted to go with them because they were going to see Star Wars.
That simple. When you first saw it, what were your immediate thoughts? I want to know from a child your sort of feelings of the movie.
He was a child?
Yeah, at some point.
I mean, it would have been
Well,
painful.
I remember being quite surprised when Qui-Gon died. Although in hindsight, obviously, it
Well,
was
yeah,
going to
because
happen.
he wasn't going to be in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
Yeah. Although, I read his name the first time, because the first time I saw him, this friend of mine that was telling me about it had a little, comic book or magazine type thing about it. And there was a picture of him, and I read it as Qui-Gon-Jinn.
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 Qui-Gon-Jinn. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you remember liking it when you first saw it? Well, assumably you
yeah,
must have done if you saw it more than once.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts? What did you say to your Star Wars friend at the time who you had that misconception?
I can't remember. We agreed it was really good.
I bet the cinemas were packed at the time.
Oh yeah, this was back when people went to the cinema.
Oh my god, I remember seeing the Philosopher's Stone and that just being packed out. There wasn't an empty seat in the whole place.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I remember. That's the last film I remember having to book in advance for.
Yes.
Before, and since then, I think the only other one has been Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Endgame and The Last Jedi reached those levels of popularity, but other than that, I can't think of any recent movies that sort of achieved that. I mean, though, I suppose you could say Avatar, but there were so many screenings of that, I don't think anyone had any problems getting a seat.
I remember going to see that with you when it came.
Yeah, we went to see that together, didn't we?
And that was the first film I saw in 3D? Well,
Yes, because it was a
not the
big deal
first.
at the time, because it was
First
when
one in that
3D made its
3D.
comeback.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of a novelty, like with one of the Spy Kids movies, but other than that, it wasn't really taken seriously until then.
Oh, now that Disney owns Fox, I think they've moved back the Avatar sequels to make room for Star Wars.
Yeah, because I saw them being sort of advertised together, like, you know, new Star Wars, and this year, the next year, it's going to be a new Avatar.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't get why Avatar of all films is the highest grossing of all time.
I know, to be honest, I thought that M. Night Shyamalan did a terrible job with it.
That's The Last Airbender.
I know, I'm kidding.
Like seeing it, watching it at home, it's not the same.
No, I've not really
Avatar.
rewatched it since it's been in the cinema.
I've watched it.
I have a couple of times, and it's still good. It's just not highest grossing of all time.
It's one of those movies that's good to see in the cinema, but at home it's just average.
Yeah, the main thing I remember about seeing it with you is the 3D.
Yeah, the 3D was good, like the bit where he plunges into the water, that was just fantastic.
Sorry, which movie are we talking about now?
We're talking about
Avatar.
Avatar The Last Airbender now for some reason.
Oh, isn't this the Star Wars?
Yes, exactly, Jack. Then everything changed when Jack Yardley attacked. So, Jack, tell us more about your Phantom Menace thoughts.
At the moment, all I can think about is that Insider's Guide I used to own.
Tell us about that.
They had this thing on it called Jar Jar at the Junkyard, something which I really wish I could find on YouTube these days. They'd show this 3D animated Jar Jar react to certain commands that Anakin gives him, and something hilarious happens because he's clumsy and he goofs it up. He'll tell him to take this part up to go near his pod racer and to watch out for the energy binders. We know how that goes. Except by some twist of fate, Jar Jar trips the engine on, and he gets pulled into it,
and he dies.
And Anakin just says, "Now you've done it."
What? As all the intestines are flying out the engine?
No, he just fell into it, and that was that.
Wait, he fell into it and died, and this was in a kid's game.
Yes. There was another one, I think, where he's asked to feed Watto's Ronto.
Oh.
He tries to grab its leash. The Ronto lunges up and just swings him round. He hits the barrel with its food in. And it goes all over God's horizon.
Huh. Another thing I remember having. Oh my God! Look, they made a Tazo of this guy. That's brilliant. $249 for a Tazo. That's bloody crazy. Were they that popular? Apparently they were. Anyway, yeah, I remember having a comic book of Star Wars around the time Phantom Menace came out, and it was about Coyadi-Mundi.
Oh yes, Outlander.
It was my introduction to Coyadi-Mundi. It was him on Tatooine.
I still have that.
Yeah.
I actually have that.
I remember recognising him when I saw the movie. I think I watched it on video when it came out. But yeah, I remember recognising him from a comic.
They made a Tazo of Don Henderson.
Apparently so. And none of these Tazo pictures are loading. That's really crap. Sebulba can't resist cheating, guys. Okay, kids' meal toy catalogue. Pete, what do you think of a Phantom Menace when it first came out?
I don't remember. I remember liking it.
Well, liking it's enough, you know.
Well, we wouldn't expect you to not like it.
A lot of good things came of Episode 1, besides the film itself. There was a game called Star Wars Obi-Wan on the original Xbox that I remember playing the crap out of. And it was like a proto-Force Unleashed to me. Like, there were some things in there besides Obi-Wan's hilariously bad Scottish accent.
They actually thought that he sounds like Ewan McGregor sounds in real life?
I think so. In fact, I'm going to try and find like some dialogue.
Anakin can't resist helping, apparently. Oh, I've got to help you.
Like the Palpatine.
Help me hide this dead body. Oh, I shouldn't be a part of this, but I can't resist helping.
Oh, no. Oh, I shouldn't do it. Do it.
I can't resist helping. Darth Sidious can't resist domination.
That's Anakin's weakness. Just say, do it, and he'll do it.
Yeah. Jar Jar can't resist appetite, apparently.
Like, I can't find any dialogue, but I remember distinctly. He goes up to someone and said, "I'm actually just a Padawan." Never mind. My name is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Why do they make him Scottish?
I don't know. Like, I mean, the game came out soon after the film, so it's possible that they hadn't seen it by the time they had to record those lines. So they thought, "It's Ewan McGregor. He's probably going to be Scottish."
Well, they just look at the names and make assumptions because they hadn't been paying attention to the movie. Oh, what have we got here? Oh, Ewan McGregor, he sounds Scottish. Qui-Gon Jinn, he sounds Chinese. Make him Chinese in the game.
Although,
Is that what they probably do?
although there was a multiplayer duel mode that had Qui-Gon Jinn, everyone else's voice was done like reasonably well. Those that had voices,
Yeah.
mind you. Other playable characters included Mace Windu, and people know what Samuel L. Jackson sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
What does he sound like?
Like Samuel L. Jackson.
Who's Samuel L. Jackson?
Was there lots of swearing in the game, or...?
No, there wasn't.
So it
I
wasn't
never quite
Fiction.
unlocked Mace Windu, but I remember a demo, and he said to Obi-Wan, "Concentrate, Padawan. Where is your mind?"
What, was he reciting the name of his favourite Pixies song, or...?
I don't know.
Where is your mind? Where is my mind, rather? What do you... Do you guys remember people not liking the Phantom Menace? Because it's the weirdest thing. It had that reputation, especially online, of being a Star Wars movie that a lot of people didn't like. But at the time, I don't remember anyone not liking it.
I don't remember anyone not liking it.
I remember Sheldon Cooper inferring sarcastically that it's a timeless classic.
But that show came out a lot later. Do you remember any talk at the time of it not being popular? Because that seemed to be a phenomenon that appeared later on.
Well, I wasn't a big internet user at the time.
No,
so
but
like,
off
maybe
the
that's
internet,
why.
Yeah, because I think it was reserved for the internet. It's like The Last Jedi. There's not many people I know who didn't like The Last Jedi, who I've met in person, if that makes sense. It's weird how people will express different views online to what they'll express in real life. About movies in particular.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that it's cool to like the Phantom Menace again. I think the prequels have experienced a bit of a renaissance in popularity recently.
Well, I never stopped liking it.
Oh, neither did I. Neither did I.
I've always liked the prequels.
Yeah, me too. I thought the prequels
Oh,
were
no.
awesome.
Not so much Attack of the Clones, but
Far better than
Oh,
the
don't
Disney.
do this.
I mean,
Okay.
I do like that one, but it's not as good as the other two.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Prequels are far better than the Disney movies, that's for sure.
I
That
don't
is not
agree.
for sure. That is categorically
Yeah,
untrue.
I actually don't agree with that. But
Categorically
I do like all. I like every Star Wars movie that's been released. Actually, for different
I
reasons.
like the prequels, but they're not better than the Disney
No.
movie.
I
Yes,
tried
no.
watching the holiday special, and it's not that good.
I don't count that as a movie. That was a TV special. I don't count that.
And it's like, I mean, well, obviously I like the Phantom Menace. This is like 20 years to the day since it was released.
Yeah, it's bloody crazy.
Although the holiday special did have the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah, so it did bring something good. Although obviously they planned Boba Fett sooner and just used it as an opportunity to introduce him. Can you resist curiosity, guys?
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, it depends on the situation.
But in general,
it's not a yes or no question.
Apparently it is. In general,
Probably no.
can you resist curiosity?
I'd say no.
You can't resist curiosity.
I don't tend to. I could if I thought it was
So,
dangerous.
in general, you can't resist curiosity. How about you, Jack? Can you resist
general, I
curiosity?
don't. I wouldn't say I can't. I can. I generally don't.
Well, there are some times when I do have to test people's responses because I'm genuinely curious as to how they'll react.
So, would you say that as you can't resist curiosity?
Well, I consider it a form of human experimentation, which to my mind is the only form of human interaction that I don't find repellent.
In other words, you can't resist curiosity.
I can, I just choose not to.
Well, that's a good thing. You've all got that in common with Padme, apparently. She can't resist curiosity.
Curiosity isn't something you resist, though.
Resist your curiosity. Okay, apparently Qui-Gon can't resist instincts.
No one can resist instincts. That's why they're instincts.
If we could resist
the
our
dumbest thing
instincts,
I've
then
ever seen.
hypnosis would be a more credible thing.
Qui-Gon can't resist instincts. I don't know why that's so funny.
Like, oh, what's next?
Oh, that's funny.
Darth Maul can't resist gravity.
Screw gravity.
Well, he did. He resisted it when he did that backflip, remember?
I'm just going to search for Star Wars can't resist in case there's any more of these. I just found these completely odd.
So these are basically the original memes.
But it's like somebody who doesn't completely understand English put them together.
I came up with a meme for you or Seb to make some time ago, Ollie, relating to Game of Thrones.
Okay, apparently these were posters as well for advertising a movie that characters can't resist things. Apparently, Watto can't resist chance.
Resisting things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to is like half of what a Jedi does.
R2 can't resist bravery.
Like, bravery itself is a resistance to fear.
Exactly! It's not like you're automatically brave and you have to work really hard to be cowardly, is it? Oh, I've got to wimp out. I've really got to wimp out of this one.
Okay, well, no matter where you stand on which is or isn't your favourite Star Wars, I think we can all agree the Phantom Menace is better than people say it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, people were treating it apparently like it was the worst film ever. It's not even
like
the worst Star Wars
you know,
film.
like the Phantom
It's not even
Menace
the
ranked
worst
my
sci-fi
childhood.
movie.
Well, it's not even the worst Star Wars film. That honour belongs to Attack of the Clones.
No, it doesn't.
No, I don't agree with that. But I think they are.
I'd say
moving away
it
from
more
each other.
belongs to Rogue One.
No,
What?
I like
what?
Rogue One.
Rogue One was fantastic.
I am really surprised to hear that.
I agree. I think it's quite an achievement on how Star Wars can have its worst film still fantastic.
Well,
Fair
I
enough.
don't think you can make that claim until you've seen Solo. Like, because you haven't
I don't
seen them
think
all.
Solo was bad.
Solo, I didn't think was worth watching. For one
I
thing,
thought it
I'd
was good.
already seen better. So there you
Well,
have
you
it.
don't know that because you haven't seen it. You
Yeah.
don't know what Solo is.
Well, I do. I've heard
It
better.
was kind
in
of
the
pointless,
audio
but I
bits.
did enjoy it.
Yeah, it was pointless but good.
Of the
I've
the
listened-
mainline,
I've
well, it's
listened
not a
to the
mainline
audio
movie.
bits. There's no way they're going to do better than that.
Well,
You're talking apples and oranges here.
yeah, it's like it's a
No,
difference.
what we're talking about is Disney against the original, and the original
but
is better.
Why does it have
No,
to be
it's
one
not.
against the other? Both exist. You know, you can like both. It's not like you have to choose.
The
I
original
agree.
isn't automatically better. It's a
Yeah.
massive, unwieldy, cumbersome thing that is a source of great bewilderment and force droids.
Yes.
I would agree with that entirely, Ollie, but unfortunately I've seen Disney's version weighed against the original, and the original just
Why?
comes off as better.
Why are you weighing them? They're different things.
I can't help but weigh them.
But the thing is, the
It's
all the
what I
legend
can't-
stuff still exists.
It's what I can't resist. I can't resist comparisons.
Okay, I'm going to make
Well-
a poster of that, actually, and add it to all the other Star Wars ones. There's an empty
Okay.
slot, so I'll put Jack Yardley can't resist comparisons.
In terms of comparisons, the sequel trilogy is the most emotionally satisfying by a lot.
Are we talking about the Disney ones?
Yeah.
I will
Because by
reserve
sequel,
all
I thought you meant the
judgment.
original.
Yeah.
And
No.
in which case,
Oh, no,
Ollie, you're
because-
wrong, because the original has Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," which is, to this day,
No, it
still the
doesn't.
greatest Star Wars movie ever.
He never says, Luke, I am your father.
Yes! Well, yes, Ollie, going for the kill. You're absolutely right.
You do know the scene of which I'm referring to, even if I may have said something wrong
You
about
out
it.
Star Wars, Jack. I love that.
What?
I like how Jack fell into that.
How did I fall into what?
You fell into
The
it.
line is, he doesn't say, Luke, I am your father. The line is, no, I am your father.
Yes, we're missing a few letters there, but you do know the saying, don't you?
Oh, Pete's
Yeah.
sending me a gift.
So there you go.
Oh, it's for
I have
it's a Michael
understood.
Jackson gift. It's on the screen, and I'm gonna leave it on the screen for a little while longer.
I don't understand you people sometimes.
No, but yeah, seriously though, the sequel trilogy is a different animal. The prequel
Yes.
trilogy is a different animal to
They're
the
all
original.
thematically different. They're good
Like,
in different
I
ways.
don't even know that you should refer to all of them as the same franchise, even though they are.
Well, they're part of the same story.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's like
They're very
like the
different.
sequel. The sequel trilogy could be like a spin-off. I mean, we've
Yeah.
already got the
I mean,
spin-off.
if you really like, if whether or not the expanded universe's canon is important to you, just treat it as a diverging timeline or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
No.
Oh my god, he's
Well,
being
what a
stubborn for stubbornness' sake now, isn't he?
I want to treat it for what it is, which is better.
Well, it's not though, is it?
But it is.
No, it isn't. I'm sorry, but you're objectively wrong. Your
I'm
opinion
not.
is wrong.
Put the GIF back on the screen.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm putting the gift back on the screen.
I don't know why you...
We've got Michael
Skippy the,
Jackson's
Force,
thriller.
Skippy the Force droid exists in the old expanded universe, therefore it cannot possibly be better than...
You can ignore that. It's so easy to ignore. I've already
Wait,
ignored it.
if
I've
you can
completely
ignore
forgotten
that,
it.
then why can't you ignore the whole, either has to be one or the other thing and enjoy both for their own merits?
What?
And also...
I'm sorry,
I
you
like
cut
how
out a
that
bit
went
there,
over
sir.
Jack's head.
You cut out a bit there.
What I was saying is, if it's easy to ignore Skippy the Force droid, then why isn't it easy to accept...
Ignore the
ignore...
canon legends distinction.
Yeah,
Skippy the story again.
The legend distinction.
the
Yeah.
fact that they're different things, and
Yeah, well-
sort of enjoy both for what they are.
I do enjoy
Like,
them for what they
there's-
are.
There's nothing stopping Disney from making a film in the Legends canon. Like, they could easily do that.
Yeah.
I wish they would.
Could happen one day. You never know, but they're
I mean-
making all sorts.
You know, could be, like, I don't know, a TV series or something. Like, Disney has the money to make anything they want. So,
The only thing is, if they really stuck strictly to Legends when making the new movies, then basically what you'd get is a
You'd
bunch of
already know
Star
what would happen.
a bunch of Star Wars fans who already know what's going to happen, who are talking amongst each other in the cinema saying, "Oh, Luke's going to do this," and there'll be no element of surprise, there'll be no creativity.
and
because,
also they'll pick it apart for, like, diversions from the text
Yeah,
or
like-
whatever. And that, you
like,
know, no one
Luke
will be...
said something slightly different to Thrawn to what he said in the book.
Well, it's not going to be quite like that because
Yeah, exactly.
it's not going to be quite like that. It wouldn't exactly be quite like that, though, would it? Because people don't necessarily know the expanded universe as certain Star Wars fans do.
And also, so many things in the expanded universe were just stupid. Like,
Yeah.
and one thing that annoys me is they brought one of them back into Solo. There's this martial art that's supposed to be used against Force users. I can't even remember what it's called.
Terrace
but
Cassie.
it's Terrace Castle. That's the one. And it's just like, that only exists because there was a Star Wars fighting game that they needed a reason that someone could go toe to toe with a Jedi. And it's like, no, you don't need that. Just get rid of it.
I did like all the subtle references in Solo, though.
Yeah.
I like that they got
think-
Aura Singer message. Yeah, you know,
I think they came up with a martial art for fighting, specifically for fighting Force users, because they had to balance it out for non-Force users in various Star Wars games.
well, that's exactly what
that's
Ollie just
exactly
said.
why it was. But you know, there can be narrative reasons for why this person can take out a Jedi. Like Boba Fett was just really good at what it. Well, sorry, Jango Fett, I suppose, was just, and by extension, Boba was just really good at what he did.
Okay.
It's true. You can occasionally
That's funny.
find someone so badass that they can't help but win. That's true.
Here's a post on a Star Wars forum that Pete just posted. Disney didn't kill the EU. The EU hasn't died unless you and everyone else let it die. Lucasfilm made the decision to create new stories. Get to know these facts. Which is exactly what we were just saying. Then someone said, I spent a good minute staring at this trying to work out how Disney could possibly kill the European Union. And then the post underneath says, Disney fucking caused Brexit.
That was an immediate. I have to admit that was my first thought, but then I realised he meant expanded universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that joke on the referendum day. I said, I voted to stay in the EU because I really like the Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy and Wedge Antilles.
That's funny.
No, that's one thing that I hope Disney does bring over from it in some way, is
He
some
did.
sort of Wedge Antilles.
Oh, what, you mean more of Wedge Antilles?
Yeah, more of Wedge Antilles stories, because he was badass in the old EU.
Sadly,
In a way that is not stupid.
Is he the one
Like
who's played by
Luke
Ewan McGregor's
Coughlin was.
uncle?
yes, Pete, yes. And sadly, the person who plays him doesn't want to be in the sequel trilogy.
Why does that not surprise me?
Well, if you
I
see
don't know,
how
I
Star
don't-
Wars fans react every time someone has the audacity to be in a Star Wars film.
Or be slightly diverse in some way. You know, like, how dare she be a woman?
Like, oh, well, all you've got... Going back to the Phantom Menace, Jake Lloyd and
Yeah.
Ahmed Best, you know.
Oh my god, they got loads of abuse, and it was really sad, you know,
Ahmed Best-
seeing the effects it had on
Ahmed
Ahmed
Best
Best.
nearly killed
I
himself
know,
because
that's awful.
Is it?
And he was great in those movies, you know.
Yeah, with what they gave him.
Yeah.
I subscribe to the theory that George Lucas originally intended for Jar Jar to be the villain, and I really wish he'd stuck with it.
Yeah, because it
Why?
was the whole... for similar I won't even go into the C-3PO thing.
Well, no, it's not another C-3PO thing. It's just, like, because you never would have expected it, and if it was done well, it could be a really good twist.
Potentially.
Like, if the whole bumbling idiot thing was just an act.
Oh, well, here's the thing. It says Sebulba can't resist cheating, but did Sebulba cheat once in the pod race?
Technically, no, there weren't really any rules.
Yeah, no rules are established
he-
other than you have to get over the finish line first.
He technically did sabotage Anakin's pod before the race.
But
I imagine
Are
there
there
are
any
probably
rules
some
against
rules
that?
about taking a. I imagine there are probably some rules against taking a piece of metal and then just dropping it so that it lands in someone's engine, or worse, take someone's head off.
But the rules
Yeah.
aren't established. I mean, they've all got those video screens. They can tell what's going on, you know, and no one's like saying, "Oh, he's cheating."
Oh, I see. Well, tell me, Ollie, you and Sam watch wrestling a lot. Is there a rule established about breaking someone's neck in a fatal fashion?
Well, yeah, it's called
Technically,
murder.
no, but you still don't do it.
Well, there you go then. I think pod racing is under the same thing.
Technically, there's no rule against it, but you still shouldn't.
Well, there you go. That is probably the rule.
It's
of
not
pod
like
racing.
international waters where you can do whatever the hell you want and the law won't stop you, though. You know, wrestling rings aren't, you know, diplomatically immune. You know, like I couldn't get into one and start cooking crystal meth, for example.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of the plot of the Phantom Menace? We've not actually talked about that.
I liked every part of the plot.
Me too.
Yeah, so did I.
Well, right, let's see. What do we like about the plot?
I think it's bloody dumb, but I love it.
I remember people telling me they didn't like it because of all the politics and stuff. I found that fascinating.
That's the good stuff. You know, it's about how, the Republic slowly becoming the Empire through manipulation.
Yeah. Well, some of the subtlety in there, because there is some subtlety
is
in
amazing.
there.
For a movie where a character steps in poo and then says, "Oh, poo," there is a lot of subtlety in this movie.
Yeah. What was I going to say? The bit with Qui-Gon's funeral with the Master and the Apprentice.
You didn't even notice that until I pointed it out, but how brilliant is it?
Yeah, it is. But which was destroyed, the Master and the Apprentice, and then there's just an almost nonchalant shot of Palpatine. So if you didn't know, you wouldn't pick up on it, but if you did, that's a huge sort of
it
foreshadowing.
just sends bloody chills down my spine every time I watch that scene.
I always like the music in that scene as well.
Oh my god, the score in the Phantom Menace, the score in every Star Wars movie really, but it's just incredible.
Yeah, John Williams deserves every Oscar he has.
Oh yeah. Well,
how many has he got now?
Well, before
I remember that.
Sorry, carry on.
I remember that poor imitation they did on The Simpsons, and Homer saying, "John Williams must be turning in his grave."
Well, before Star Wars, every sort of sci-fi movie sort of had more sort of synth, sort of, common soundtracks, not with any classical music, and then, there was the John Williams score in New Hope.
Well, it's 2001.
Yeah, like that sort of thing, like the sort of thing that you'd get in Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Well, which was very much of its time, but I know, because it's classical music, it gives Star Wars sort of a timeless sort of feel, and I like how they tried to emulate that in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and other similar movies.
We get it, it's timeless!
Although, one aspect of a plot that is a bit dumb is all the stuff that happens on Tatooine. They land on the planet, go to the one junk store, assume that Watto's telling the truth, that only he is selling what they want, even though he happens to be...
Even if he wasn't lying, he could still be wrong.
Yeah, how does he know the inventory of every other junk trader in a big city?
Yeah, because it's said that a Jedi can detect a lie with the Force. Watto could be telling them in good faith.
He might not be able to tell because he's a Toydarian.
Yeah, but even if not, Watto could be telling them in good faith that, as far as he knows, nobody else has a T-14 hyperdrive, but he can't be sure.
Yeah, basically, he was too lazy to go to any more than one shop.
A little something I found a little hard to believe was hearing him hearing Obi-Wan saying the Queen's wardrobe wouldn't be able to muster up enough funds to buy the hyperdrive.
Why was it made of mahogany or?
It's Queen's. It's the Queen's wardrobe against a propulsion system.
Yeah, but they can't let on that they've got a queen there.
Exactly. But say, where did you get these fancy clothes?
Do you think people would ask that in Tatooine?
I'll be right back.
Well, yeah, they'd be curious. They'd probably stalk you and find out what your business is.
I don't know.
That's why they dress modestly. That's why Padme dressed modestly.
I think some people in Tatooine probably wouldn't care because they're more interested in making money.
Well, exactly. If you see someone selling sort of wealthy bling, then you'll follow them.
For a small, out-of-the-way, poor backwater planet, an awful lot goes down on Tatooine.
It's like if I went into Birmingham city centre covered in gold chains, and people would probably follow me to see if I've got any other wealth. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Although, Qui-Gon is a very irresponsible human being.
He is. He's basically a Star Wars parody, like a Peter Griffin parody of a Star Wars Jedi.
He gambled the Queen's ship, which wasn't his to gamble.
Without her consent or knowledge.
Actually, it was with her consent, because Padme was there.
Well, no, she She didn't know about it, did she?
I think she did actually.
And she was trying to maintain her cover by saying, she even said, I don't approve.
Yeah, but she didn't know about that part. It wasn't until later that he tried to gamble the ship away.
Although, one thing I do like, when real Padme reveals herself, the two least surprised-looking people in that crowd are Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And I think, like, Qui-Gon especially, like he's just won a bet.
Yeah, I would have loved it if they just
The only thing
exchanged
that could have made that
credits.
scene better is if Obi-Wan just slyly hands Qui-Gon and, like, some credits.
I think it's clever how they got Keira Knightley to be her double.
Yeah, because they did look very similar at the time, didn't they?
I mean, their parents couldn't even tell them apart.
I think that's brilliant.
I still can't tell when Keira Knightley's in the film.
I sort
She's
of
in the
can.
film when Padme's dressed as a handmaiden.
You are, yeah.
I like how R2-D2, the sort of basically the iconic droid of Star Wars, was just a random repair unit.
I like that as well. You know, how they just ran into him by chance and he saved the day immediately. That's such an R2 thing to do.
Yeah.
I also love the dialogue between Qui-Gon and Watto. You know, I love all of it. You know, I like when he says, "I've got a pod racer, the fastest ever built," and then Watto goes, "I hope he doesn't kill anyone I know for it." I just love that.
Yeah.
Because of course everyone's going to claim that, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think that's genius. And that would have gone over a lot of people's heads at the time. It's just great.
I've acquired a pod in a game of chance.
The fastest ever built.
I just happen to have a chance cube here, and there's only one blue square on it. Like, from the off, what I was trying to cheat them.
Yeah, and I like how Qui-Gon just goes on with it.
Yeah, and
I
then
did like that look on Liam Neeson's face when he starts to use the Force to mimic, alter it. But
imagine if they lost the pod race though, they'd be screwed.
I think in the Force, Qui-Gon knew that wasn't going to happen.
Well, no, but
yeah, but to an outside observer, he looks like a really irresponsible guy.
like if he didn't know he was Jedi, you'd think, what a prick.
Yeah, like if you didn't know that he, because of his connection to the Force, knew that everything would work out.
A couple of other things. Apparently, there's no currency exchange, even though you'd expect people would travel between the Outer Rim and the Republic. You know, there's no currency exchange. There's no sort of mobile devices that you can use to contact Coruscant. You know, there's not even a payphone equivalent. There's not that, which is weird.
Well, Tatooine is that far out of the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
but surely the Hutts
no
would need to
internet
contact
or equivalent
other
in
people.
Star Wars, is there?
No, but surely somebody on Tatooine would need to contact somebody on another planet for some reason.
Why?
Yeah. Well, they did in Attack of the Clones when Anakin went to Tatooine.
Exactly. Yes. So presumably they'd have some sort of way to communicate between one another.
I mean,
Also, here's another thing. They weren't allowed to send any transmissions because it might alert the Trade Federation, but surely if they let the Republic know what's going on then and there, then the Republic can turn up and, you know, ship them away before the, you know.
You're acting under the assumption that they can take that chance, that the Republic would do that.
Also, you can see Quinlan Voss in the background. Like, why didn't they just go up to him and say, "Oh, Quinlan Voss, what are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm just on a mission, guys. Can you get me to Coruscant?" "Yeah, sure."
Where did they see Quinlan Voss in the background?
He was in the background in Tatooine. I'll search for it. Quinlan Voss.
It's amazing the things I don't remember sometimes.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, here's the picture.
Have you put it in the Skype or in the...
It's in the... It's on the video, but I'll put it in the Skype. And it's confirmed, like, canonically, that it is Quinlan Vos. So you can't even say it just looks like him.
I probably won't. I'd just like to see for myself.
Yeah, there you go. It's when Sebulba's fighting Jar Jar.
Yeah, that does look like Quinlan Vos.
Yeah, well, it's confirmed that it is him.
Strange.
Apparently he was undercover on a mission.
Maybe they didn't want to disrupt his mission.
Yeah, but, you know, for the inconvenience, you know, like, was what he was doing more important than what they were doing?
Quite possibly.
I mean, Qui-Gon suspects he has the Chosen One with him. You know, surely he'd want to talk to Quinlan Vos about that, at least.
Or
Do
talk
they
to the
have sort of a
council.
clandestine way to signal each other? Because, like, in that situation.
They did in
I
a
don't-
deleted scene of Revenge of the Sith, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think they developed that during the Clone Wars, actually. Or maybe Obi-Wan and Anakin just developed it, because I don't think any other Jedi... I've seen any other Jedi doing that.
Yeah, but
I find that most...
just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's, you know, not something that other people know.
Well, I've seen some other instances in which a clandestine approach for communication would have been more useful in the comic books, but was never used. One such moment was when Ayla Sakura was drowning and Kit Fisto dived in to save her, but her leg was
Fisto.
trapped. So he quite literally gave her the kiss of life.
Oh.
He was a Nordland, he could breathe
Yeah.
underwater, so...
Yeah, I'm aware of Kit Fisto. Ollie, what other thoughts do you have on the plot?
On the plot. Other than Qui-Gon being irresponsible. I think the pod race scene is very well shot. It's a great
it's
piece
fantastic.
of cinematography.
And it's mostly miniatures.
Yeah, and the final sort of battle that takes place over 3 different battlefronts. It always kept me engaged as a kid, and I had a
there's
very
4
bad
different
attention
ones.
span.
Yeah, there's 4 different battles going
Oh
on
yeah,
at the same
there's
time.
droid control ship, Gungans, Padme, and the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic, because you see
I'll
4
say
different
one thing I
aspects.
don't like.
Go on, Pete.
Also,
Pete,
just
Pete.
I'll let Ollie.
Oh, finish Ollie,
just
then Pete.
something I noticed in Episode 1, Obi-Wan is using a similar style to Qui-Gon, whereas in future films he seems to have changed it.
Yeah, like over the next 10 years he's learnt new skills.
Yeah, and I think I saw a Star Wars theory video at one point saying that he did originally choose to specify in the same style that Qui-Gon used, but because that was essentially what got him killed, the tiring out,
Yeah.
he decided to switch to his defensive form.
Oh yes, that is kind of what happened. Switching to his defensive form is why he had trouble with Count Dooku.
Yeah, is Count Dooku's fencing style particularly...
It's a natural counter for Sarisu, yes.
Yeah.
As a lore enthusiast and a knower of lightsaber forms, I can tell you that for certain.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Pete,
Yeah,
what
well,
did you not like?
The Yoda puppet in Phantom
yeah,
Menace.
to be honest, I'm glad they changed that to the CGI.
Yeah, that was one change from the Blu-ray that I did like.
Yeah. But how is it that the puppet Yoda in The Phantom Menace looks like crap compared to the one they used in The Empire Strikes Back, which is like a 20 years older movie? I never understood that.
Difficult to say.
But do you know what I mean? The one that they used in, Empire Strikes Back looks real. You know, it really looks good.
Yeah.
You can believe it's
the
a
one in The Last
being that
Jedi looked
exists.
good.
Yeah. All of them
There's
looked
no
good.
excuse for a crap puppet Yoda.
Exactly.
Like, the technology has existed since the 80s.
But what I don't understand is, did nobody at the time look at it and think, well, actually, that looks pretty terrible compared to what we had on Empire?
I honestly think George Lucas sort of was in a position where people were afraid to tell him no.
So yeah, you subscribe to the Yes Man theory, where some of the worst excesses of the prequels were due to.
I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think he deliberately surrounded himself with yes men, but I do think that that's what ended up happening.
Well, yeah, because people just respected him too much to tell him otherwise.
Well, he'd earned that respect.
And he was the one signing the paychecks. I mean, I'd be a bit nervous about speaking up too.
Yeah.
Well, if I recall correctly, a lot of people, many of the main cast for the original series, do credit for George Lucas for having a wild imagination. I mean, I believe Mark Hamill said, and I quote, "He can take popsicle sticks and scotch tape and really make something out of it." So I guess maybe people thought of his ideas and just thought, what the hell, it's good, it's George Lucas thinking it. I don't think it was a case of they were all too afraid to say no to him. I think they just thought he must be right, and if we disagree, we must be wrong.
Yeah,
which wouldn't exactly have been an unfair comment, given that he did bring us Star Wars.
And to be fair, the Star Wars prequels were very creative. You know, say what you like about them, they're creative movies. All the ideas for different planets, for different species, the concepts. Yeah, the droids and the concepts.
The droid to this very day.
Oh my god, yes. They are epic. They were like the coolest things ever.
Yeah, I mean, that bit in the hangar when the fight with Darth Maul's about to start, and they're taking the long way around, and R2-D2 hears something coming. We see 3 droid-cars.
And then we know we're screwed, because just 2 of them are enough to scare away.
We already saw 2 of them drive off Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and then you got 3 of them, and they don't have lightsabers. So immediately thinking, oh, that's it, it's over. They're not getting past that.
Yeah, they do a really good job of making them look really effective.
What is it?
Making what look effective?
The droid-cars.
Why are they still not in Battlefront 2?
I don't bloody know.
Where are those droidicars?
Star Wars fans to EA.
I dare say, Ollie, I think that droidicars would probably be considered overpowered by Battlefront standard. I mean, they've got a shield generator.
So have them be a special unit then, like the jet troopers or what have you.
They were in the original Battlefront 2.
Well, the thing is, Ollie, they were in the original Battlefront 2, as Seb has just pointed out, and they made the shield generator somewhat. They made it so that it would eventually dissipate. The thing is, in the movies, there's no real evidence that their shield generators would dissipate unless hit with something of excessive power. So, if they use them in Battlefront 2, by that logic, the shield generator would never go down unless it was hit by an artillery strike, and that would just make whoever's using it overpowered. You don't necessarily need to upgrade anything after that, so it doesn't really fit into the style of the game.
I wouldn't say they're overpowered because they're available in such small quantities, like in the Clone Wars and in the game, that they're not enough to make an impact.
Well, yes, that's one of the reasons what the games did potentially wrong. I mean, they had to balance it, so no complaints there.
Let's face it, if the
droidicars were meant to be the droidicars, as far as I know, were meant to be an impassable object.
Well, yeah, if the Separatists had as many battle droids as they did... Sorry, if they had as many droidicars as they had regular battle droids, then they probably would have won it.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that. The droidicars...
Well, they would have won the land battles,
the droidicars were specifically anti-infantry. If they use them against the Gungans, fine. But against sometimes you do need artillery, and battle droids can drive the battle tanks.
But yeah, Jack, give us your review of the Phantom Menace.
I believe I've been doing that for the past... How long has this stream been going on for?
Give us a summary, like Ollie did.
I haven't been watching the YouTube video.
78 minutes, bloody hell.
For the past 78 minutes I've been giving my review of Phantom Menace. I've been a little hoping that Sam and Ian would turn up, because I do enjoy talking Star Wars with Sam, no offence.
What do you mean, no offence? Where would we take offence with that?
Well, it's just that could be interpreted as I prefer to talk Star Wars with Sam than I do with you guys.
You know what? I would understand if you did. But
Sam is good at talking about Star Wars, to be
Well,
fair.
Yeah.
well, in fairness, the truth is, I don't really get a chance to talk Star Wars with Sam. So
You're not
if you
saying
put
that just because Sam's more likely to agree with you than we are.
no, because he agrees with your C-3PO theories.
Hey.
So no, we don't really
Oh,
agree on
yeah.
everything. Not only not only that, but also what he says about the Jedi Order, I kind of take on a bit of grain of salt because he doesn't really seem to know Quinlan Voss. He doesn't seem to know all that.
were
he doesn't-
you there? I think you were,
Yeah.
Jack, at Alcon, where Seb actually put his Obi-Wan wasn't really dead, inverted commas, theory to X the Dark One.
I was.
He
I
loved
was,
it. He
I
loved
was,
it.
I was
Laughed out of the,
Lil
well, I
Prebo
won't say he
liked
was
it
laughed
too.
out of the room.
I was so terribly embarrassed.
You were embarrassed by us.
Embarrassed by you, actually, and then I remember
He
one
was
time you
embarrassed
say,
for you, Seb.
and
But
then
everyone
one,
loved it.
and then that one time when you tried to bring that theory to me during a YouTube stream, and frankly, I just couldn't be bothered to argue with you, so I literally just said, "Yes, Seb, that's what happened." The thing is, I literally hoped that theory would just die where it is, because I thought, you must be joking. This is something where if I just agree with him with it, he'll stop thinking about it. And then you didn't. I thought that would be one of those moments whereby you've encountered someone you don't like, and if you just ignore him, he'll go away. I thought the same towards that theory.
Pete, your thoughts. Tell us what you think about the Phantom Menace plot. The movie.
Yeah, I think I've already said. Okay.
Well, I think it's safe to say we all quite like the Phantom Menace.
And I can't believe it's 20 years old now. It's bloody crazy.
Neither can I.
I can't. It's very
bloody
easy.
hell, it can drink.
Time has gone by.
Yeah. I mean, the Phantom Menace is legal in 31 states. Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I'd love it if they would have done a 20-year anniversary release of it.
Yeah, or a screening in cinemas.
Yeah, even if it was just for today, that would have been good.
I wouldn't mind seeing another 3D version of that movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it in 3D again.
I mean, I remember
Translated
watching it.
surprisingly well to 3D, considering it was a post-production conversion.
It was
I
a
remember-
good-looking movie for its time. I mean, it actually, in my opinion, looks better than Attack of the Clones and some parts Revenge of the Sith when it comes to, the visuals.
Yeah, it does look really.
I remember watching it with my brother. The bit where the doors opened and Darth Maul was on the other side for that lightsaber. I thought
Something 2 days ago. Oh, sorry, Jack. Go on.
I whispered to my brother the words, "I've been waiting all day for this moment."
Oh, what a moment. I only just found out you've got a brother, Jack. You've never once mentioned it to us.
Well, they are my stepbrothers, so
yeah, but...
biologically speaking, I'm an only child.
Yeah, but, family-wise, you've got brothers.
I don't really see them that often.
Okay, then.
Here's one. I haven't read this before, but let's have a go at this. An interview with my wife, who's never seen Star Wars after I made her watch The Phantom Menace. This was posted 2 days ago.
Okay, I'm interested in this.
20 years later, is Episode 1 really as bad as we thought? Well, we know it's not. Let's ask an impartial observer.
Yeah.
On May 19th, 1999... Luckily, right. Pre-screening discussion about Star Wars. Before we begin, what do you think Star Wars is about? I think they're trying to defeat Darth Vader. The plot is that Darth Vader wants to take over some universe. Is it Earth? I don't know. And the good people in Star Wars need to stop him from doing that. I know Darth Vader has soldiers. And what are they called? Space cadets? They ride around in a spaceship? What's the spaceship called? The Force? Try to name as many things from Star Wars as you can. The Force is one of them. It isn't a spaceship. I know they use laser beams. So, sure, what are those called? Jedi swords? I like that a lot better, actually. They buzz, right? Aren't they called laser beams? They take the next 60 seconds to name as many Star Wars characters as you can. Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Jar Jar Binks, Yoda, the Jedi's, Luke something, what's that robot, R2-D2, Chewbacca, that might be it. Honestly, that's better than I thought you were going to do. I think we could all agree with that. Oh wait, the Stormtroopers, you mean the Space Cadet? Yeah, them, now I remember. Why do you think people have been so obsessed with Star Wars for 40 plus years? Because it probably reminds them of their childhood, and it has to be somewhat of an interesting story, otherwise people wouldn't like it. Can you name any of the episodes besides the one we're about to watch? Return of the Jedi, I know that one, and there's one called Lost in Space. No.
Oh, the pain.
The pain of it all.
There is not. Do you know anything about the Phantom Menace? I know there's Darth Vader and Chewbacca and all the other people I said. Oh boy.
No, well, technically there is.
Yeah,
There is Darth
technically,
Vader.
yes,
Darth
yeah.
Vader is the menace. So what do you think this movie's going to be about? Darth Vader. Maybe they don't know him yet. Maybe it's like Tom Riddle in Harry Potter, where they don't really know he's going to be Lord Voldemort. Well, she's not wrong.
Yeah, she's right. She's right.
It is about Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I think it was more
I remember
about
the
the
movie posters and being really excited about them. You know, that had sort of Anakin as a boy and his shadow was Darth Vader. Do you guys remember that poster?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hyped
He
when I
had
saw
that.
that
I think
in
I saw
cinemas.
that in the Insider's Guide.
I was hyped when I saw that in cinemas.
I don't remember that.
A few quotes during the Phantom Menace screening. 1 second into Jar Jar Binks' first appearance. What the fuck? 10 seconds into Jar Jar Binks' first appearance. Is he supposed to look like that? 20 seconds. Is he supposed to be a joke? 30 seconds into Jar Jar Binks' first appearance. Is this how all the movies are? 5 minutes. 5 minutes into the pod race after I reveal Anakin's future identity. Oh, that little kid is Darth Vader? That's sad.
Aw.
Upon Jabba the Hutt's first appearance during the pod race. Is that Yoda? 10 minutes into the pod race. How much time are they going to spend on this race? Near end of pod race. That's the longest fucking race ever. Do not badmouth the pod race.
It was good. It was long, but I like that it was long.
Same.
It was brilliantly shot.
I like the fact that we saw extended clips in the 3D version.
Me too. That was
Clips
really
that were
good.
cut out.
Post-screening discussion. So what did you think? It was okay. I'd give it a 5 out of 10, I guess. It was cuter than I was expecting. Like a Disney movie. I really thought it was going to be more serious. I liked seeing the different planets, though, and I thought the race thing was neat at first, and then it went on forever, and I couldn't believe we were really still watching this race an hour later. Jar Jar, thoughts? I have no idea what they were thinking. Like, was he a joke? He was real. Did you genuinely understand what was going on? Not really, no. I wish I understood all the trade stuff. Yeah, so do I. Who was your favourite character? I liked the robot. CP3? C3PO, he's barely in it. I liked him, though. He's funny.
My parts are showing.
How invested were you in the Anakin story? I guess it was interesting, but that kid was a really horrible actor.
Aw, but it's only a boy.
Why do you think so many people hate this movie? Because it's confusing and the race was an hour long and the editing felt really choppy? It was just all over the place. Honestly, I was close to falling asleep near the end. Did you feel anything when Liam Neeson died? That was Liam Neeson? It was. Not really.
Why do I get the feeling some of this was made up?
Probably was embellished, but...
It was written for popularmechanics.com by an Andrew Daniels 2 days ago.
I hate those unpopular mechanics. You know, always being unsavoury and not being liked by people.
So there, I've cited my source.
Heinz.
Anyway, I'm gonna go, I think.
Yeah, I think we're close to winding up.
Nearly an hour and a half.
I can't believe we've been talking about the Phantom Menace that long. So yeah,
So
that's nearly movie length.
So no one's going to join in my stream then?
Well, yeah, but that's a separate thing altogether, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, yeah. That's your stream, and this is my stream.
Don't cross the streams.
Yeah, don't. Oh, that's brilliant. Da, 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 da.
It's just I'd rather hoped I could get your attention just long enough for me to do this one last Sherlock game.
Go for it.
I'll watch the stream. I don't think I'm gonna stay on Skype. I'm feeling a bit fatigued from it at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
in conclusion, guys, vote 20 years. Can you believe
I
it?
just want someone to talk to so I don't get bored.
So, basically, your main concern is getting bored.
Basically, yes.
It's
What's the
not
point of
enjoying our company, it's just you don't want to get bored.
Well, that is how I avoid getting bored.
There's plenty of things you can do by yourself to entertain yourself, fine.
Why do I get the feeling I don't like where this conversation is going?
Because it's Seb, Jack.
Yes.
Oh god, it reminds me of that stream we did a little while ago, where the dodgy sounds were taking place. You remember that, Pete?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I honestly, you know what I thought was going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, in conclusion, Pete, what would you like to say about the Phantom Menace 20 years later to the day?
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 20 years.
I can't.
I can't believe it took 20 years for people to shut the hell up moaning about it.
So,
Yeah, they like it now. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, well, now people are busy moaning about The Last Jedi as if that was any worse. Which it wasn't. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I shouldn't moan about it.
No.
Now, in seriousness about that, though, the sequel trilogy, the Disney movies, are different. Let's not pretend that they're not. The tone is quite different. In particular, The Last Jedi especially has lost a lot of the naivete of Star Wars in favour of a more, like, grey areas, sort of realistic
Yeah.
kind of tone. And I understand not liking that, if that's not what you go to Star Wars for. But, you know, I really liked where they went with that.
Me too.
So,
right.
yeah, I can get behind the idea that you don't like the way Disney are taking the franchise, but
Sending
know.
death threats to the.
yeah.
Okay, Jack, your final
Going
thoughts
a
for
bit
Phantom
far.
Menace.
I liked it. I'm sorry, Ollie. I just genuinely think that it's part of the films that were better than the new ones. You can't convince me otherwise.
There are aspects, I wouldn't disagree.
I mean, I
I mean,
think
it
I
has.
would probably take.
I mean, it can't be argued that it cannot be. I'm sorry, it cannot be argued that Star Wars Episode 1 by far still has the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars so far.
It's a really good lightsaber duel. I don't know if it's
I don't know. Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar is, it's a contender.
It certainly is a
I really
contender.
like the one with Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith.
So do I, actually. I like all the
thought
Count Dooku ones.
I thought the one in Revenge of the Sith was too short. I think the one in Attack of the Clones was one of the film's saving graces, shall we say?
Yeah, it was a good fight because it was the first fight where they really talked to each other while fighting, and I thought that
When
was-
Yoda walked in.
yes.
I remember watching it with my dad and watching Yoda jump
Oh,
around. My dad,
that was an amazing moment.
I could hear my dad. I could hear my dad laughing and whispering to me, "He's like a demented frog."
the Palpatine and Yoda fight.
That was a good one.
Oh, that was one of the best.
I guess
the
we'll be talking
prequels
about
had
this in
fan-
3 years.
The prequels had fan service to spare.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
that's kind of what I like about them.
Me too.
It's like, I mean, George Lucas knows what his audience likes. So you can't say he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Who would?
Yeah, well, all I can say is, well, the Phantom Menace, you magnificent bastards. Here's to another 20 years. Oh my god. In the amount of time that it's took between the Phantom Menace and now, if you put that into the future, then it will be 40 years. We're halfway to 40 years of the Phantom Menace.
Which would be, like, almost 60 years of Star Wars, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's 1979 was the first Star Wars movie, so it's 40 years of Star Wars. Now,
Quite the accomplishment.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been HirosKnight talking with Ollie, Pete, and Jack about
Ollie
Phantom
Johnson,
Menace.
check out my YouTube channel. Chill.
Yeah. And I
Jack
don't know.
Yardley, SWTOR Saga, I might stream later.
Yes, and do watch that. And I don't know
What time are
Pete
you
does.
planning on streaming?
I might stream now, actually, because I may have a previous engagement at some point in the 20th hour.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, alright. Okay, we'll do that then. Alright, thank you guys for joining me. And us.
Alright,
Yeah,
yeah, no
Alright.
problem.
Who's
Goodbye.
staying on the Skype?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.